In the flickering shadows of a dimly lit tavern, Alex sat alone, nursing a drink. His sharp eyes, hardened by countless battles, scanned the room. Murmurs and muffled conversations filled the air, but one topic stood out. A legendary dragon's egg, said to be of immense value and power. This piqued Alex's interest, not just for the treasure, but for the hint of adventure it promised. As he contemplated the rumors, a cloaked figure approached his table. The stranger's face was hidden, but his voice carried an undeniable urgency. "You're Alex, aren't you? The mercenary who's seen more battles than most have heard of," he whispered, his eyes glinting with a mix of fear and excitement. Alex, cautious but intrigued, nodded silently, inviting the stranger to continue. "The egg," the figure began, leaning closer. "It's real. I know where it is, but it's not for the faint of heart. It lies deep in the Whispering Forest, guarded by the remnants of an ancient magic." The mention of the Whispering Forest, a place shrouded in mystery and old magic, sent a thrill down Alex's spine. He had ventured near its edges in his earlier years, but never dared to tread its deeper paths. "Why tell me?" Alex asked, his voice low and steady. "Because you're the only one capable of retrieving it," the stranger replied. "And the reward, it's substantial." Alex's mind raced. He knew the dangers that such quests entailed. Myths of the Whispering Forest spoke of creatures and enchantments no mortal had ever conquered. Yet the allure of the unknown, the call of a challenge, was what Alex lived for. He weighed his options. The tavern, with its stale air and familiar shadows, represented the life he knew, a life of fleeting contracts and hollow victories. The quest for the dragon's egg, however, was a leap into the unknown, a chance for a real adventure, perhaps his last. Finally, Alex broke the silence. "I'll do it," he declared, a sense of resolve in his voice. The cloaked figure nodded, a hint of relief in his posture. "Then the fate of the egg lies with you," he said, sliding a crude map across the table. As the figure vanished into the shadows of the tavern, Alex stared at the map, his mind already journeying into the depths of the Whispering Forest. Unbeknownst to him, accepting this quest would plunge him into a conflict ancient and larger than any he had ever known, awakening powers within him that lay dormant and drawing him into the heart of an age-old rivalry. This was the beginning of a journey that would redefine not just his destiny, but the fate of the world itself. With the first light of dawn, Alex set out on his journey, the map from the mysterious stranger tucked securely in his cloak. His path led him through rugged landscapes, across rushing rivers, and into dense, untamed forests. The Whispering Forest loomed ahead, its reputation for danger and enchantment evident in the eerie silence that surrounded its borders. As he ventured deeper into the forest, Alex couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The ancient trees seemed to whisper secrets of the past, and the air was thick with an unspoken tension. It was here, in a clearing shadowed by towering oaks, that Alex first encountered the Emberites. The Emberites, fierce warriors adorned in red and gold, were engaged in a heated skirmish with a group of warriors clad in silver and blue, the Frostborn. The clash of steel and shouts of battle filled the air as the two clans fought with a ferocity that spoke of deep-seated hatred. Hiding behind a thick trunk, Alex observed the conflict. He overheard snippets of their heated exchange, revealing the cause of their feud. The dragon's egg, a symbol of ultimate power and authority, long contested by both clans. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Alex knew he needed to avoid detection. However, just as he was about to retreat, a stray arrow from the battle whizzed past him, alerting both clans to his presence. The fighting ceased momentarily as all eyes turned to Alex. "Who are you, and what brings you to the heart of our conflict?" demanded the leader of the Emberites, his sword still dripping with the evidence of battle. Alex, calculating his response, decided to conceal his true purpose. "I'm just a wanderer, lost in these woods," he replied, hoping to defuse the situation. The Frostborn leader, a woman with eyes as cold as ice, stepped forward. No one wanders into the Whispering Forest by accident. Speak the truth or join the casualties of this war, she threatened, her hand gripping her weapon tightly. The tension was palpable, but before either clan could act, a sudden uproar in the forest distracted them. Taking advantage of the chaos, Alex made a swift escape, disappearing into the thick underbrush. His heart raced as he fled, the sounds of the resumed battle fading behind him. Safe for the moment, Alex paused to catch his breath, realizing the egg's significance went beyond mere treasure. It was a coveted relic capable of igniting wars. As he resumed his journey deeper into the forest, the weight of his quest grew heavier. He was now entangled in an ancient rivalry that threatened to consume him. After evading the clash between the Emberites and Frostborn, Alex continued his journey, his thoughts swirling with the implications of what he had witnessed. The path led him to a secluded village, nestled in a valley where the Whispering Forest's ominous presence felt somewhat softened. In this village, Alex encountered an elderly sage, known simply as Eldrin. With a knowing look in his ancient eyes, Eldrin beckoned Alex into his humble dwelling, a place filled with scrolls, artifacts, and the faint scent of herbs. "You carry a heavy burden, traveler," Eldrin began, his voice as old as the hills. "The shadows of your past are intertwined with the fate of a legacy long forgotten." Alex, normally guarded, found himself opening up to Eldrin. He shared his quest for the dragon's egg and the violent encounter with the Emberites and Frostborn. Eldrin listened intently, nodding at times, his eyes never leaving Alex. When Alex finished, Eldrin rose and walked over to a dusty shelf, retrieving an ancient leather-bound tome. He opened it to a page marked with a strange symbol, a dragon entwined with a warrior. "This symbol represents a lineage of dragon tamers," Eldrin explained, pointing to the symbol. "Warriors blessed with the ability to bond with dragons, to understand them beyond mere words. You, Alex, are descended from this line." The revelation struck Alex like a thunderbolt. Pieces of his life, once shrouded in mystery, began to fall into place. The unexplained dreams of soaring above the clouds, his affinity for ancient lore, and now his quest for the dragon's egg. Eldrin continued, "The dragon's egg you seek is not just a symbol of power, it is a living link to your heritage, a key to unlocking abilities you've only begun to understand." As Alex absorbed this information, a mix of disbelief and clarity washed over him. His quest had taken on a new dimension. It was no longer just about the retrieval of a mythical object. It was about rediscovering a part of himself long lost to the annals of time. Thanking Eldrin for the enlightenment, Alex left the village. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but now he knew he was not just a mercenary on a quest. He was a descendant of dragon tamers, destined to uncover the secrets of his lineage and possibly shape the future of the conflict he had stumbled into. Guided by the newfound knowledge of his lineage, Alex delved deeper into the Whispering Forest. His journey was arduous, filled with treacherous paths and unseen perils. However, his resolve never wavered. The forest, sensing his ancient heritage, seemed to guide him, leading him to a hidden cavern veiled by vines and ancient magic. Inside the cavern, illuminated by the ethereal glow of luminescent moss, Alex found what he had been seeking, the dragon's egg. It lay upon a pedestal of stone, pulsating with a mysterious energy that resonated with the very core of his being. As Alex approached the egg, a sense of awe overcame him. The egg was unlike anything he had ever seen, its shell shimmering with iridescent scales that seemed to dance in the cavern's light. Tentatively, he reached out and touched it, and in that moment, a profound connection was established. The egg trembled under his touch, and cracks began to appear on its surface. With a sound like the whisper of ancient winds, the egg hatched, revealing a small dragon. Its scales reflected a spectrum of colors, and its eyes held the wisdom of ages. The dragon gazed at Alex, and in that gaze, Alex felt an immediate and unbreakable bond. The hatching of the dragon stirred something within Alex. He felt a surge of power, an awakening of abilities that had lain dormant within him. Images and knowledge flooded his mind, ancient dragon lore, the forgotten language of dragon tamers, and insights into the mystical bond between dragons and their human counterparts. The dragon, though newly hatched, seemed to understand Alex instinctively. It nuzzled against him, its warmth and presence offering comfort and strength. Alex realized this was not just a creature of legend. It was a companion, a guide, and a key to unlocking the mysteries of his heritage. As they left the cavern together, Alex knew their journey was just beginning. The bond they shared was more than just a fulfillment of an ancient lineage. It was a promise of a shared destiny, a journey into the unknown realms of magic and power. With the dragon by his side, Alex was no longer just a mercenary on a quest. He was a dragon tamer, ready to face the challenges and revelations that lay ahead. With the dragon at his side, Alex ventured forth from the ancient cavern, their bond growing stronger with each step. The dragon, despite its youth, moved with a grace and intelligence that belied its age. As they journeyed, Alex continued to unlock the knowledge and skills inherited from his dragon tamer lineage, guided by the silent wisdom of his new companion. Their path led them through the densest parts of the whispering forest. The thick canopy above cast dappled shadows on the forest floor, creating a mosaic of light and darkness. Alex was ever vigilant, aware that the eggs hatching would not have gone unnoticed. His instincts proved correct. As they navigated a particularly secluded glade, a group of rogue mercenaries emerged from their hiding places among the trees. They were a motley crew, armed and dangerous, their intentions clear from the malevolence in their eyes. "Hand over the dragon, and you might live," their leader sneered, his blade glinting in the filtered sunlight. Alex stood protectively in front of the dragon, his hand on his sword. "Not a chance," he replied, his voice steady despite the danger. The mercenaries attacked without further words, their movements coordinated and ruthless. But they underestimated Alex's prowess and the dragon's agility. Alex fought with a ferocity fueled by the need to protect his companion. His sword danced in his hands, a blur of steel that met each attack with precision. Meanwhile, the dragon maneuvered around the battlefield with astonishing speed, evading capture and aiding Alex with intuitive understanding. It breathed small bursts of flame, enough to startle and fend off their attackers without causing grave harm. The battle was intense and swift. Alex's skills, combined with the dragon's aid, overwhelmed the mercenaries. One by one, they fell or fled, realizing their prey was far more formidable than they had anticipated. In the aftermath of the skirmish, as Alex checked for any injuries, he understood the gravity of their situation. Someone had placed a bounty on his head, seeking the dragon for their own ends. This realization weighed heavily on him. Their journey had just become more perilous, and the stakes were higher than ever. After the harrowing encounter with the mercenaries, Alex and the dragon found solace by a serene lake nestled in a quiet valley. The tranquility of the setting, with the gentle lapping of the water and the rustling of the leaves, provided a much-needed respite from their recent trials. Alex sat by the water's edge, the dragon curled up beside him, its scales shimmering softly in the sunlight. As they rested, Alex felt a gentle probing in his mind, a sensation both strange and familiar. He turned to look at the dragon, whose eyes were closed in concentration. It was then that he realized the dragon was communicating with him telepathically. The dragon's thoughts flowed into Alex's mind, clear and resonant. It spoke of the ancient history of the clans, the Emberites and Frostborn, and their deep connection to the dragons. Long ago, the two clans had lived in harmony with the dragons, serving as guardians and companions. However, over time, greed and the desire for power corrupted their hearts, leading to a schism and an endless feud. The dragon explained that the egg, from which it had hatched, was a symbol of unity and balance, a remnant of the time when dragons and humans coexisted peacefully. Its existence was a reminder of a forgotten covenant, a potential bridge between the warring clans. As the dragon shared these insights, images and emotions accompanied its words, painting a vivid picture of the past. Alex saw visions of majestic dragons soaring through the skies, their riders from both clans riding in harmony. He felt the pain of betrayal and the sorrow of loss as the clans turned against each other and against the dragons. This revelation deepened Alex's understanding of his quest. The dragon's egg was not just a treasure to be sought, it was a beacon of hope, a chance to mend what had been broken. The conflict between the Embereats and Frostborn was more than a mere power struggle. It was a tragic fallout from a forgotten truth. Continuing their journey, Alex and the dragon ventured deeper into the uncharted territories of the Whispering Forest. The deeper they went, the more the forest seemed to unveil its ancient secrets. It was during one such exploration that Alex stumbled upon the ruins of a lost civilization. The ruins, hidden beneath overgrowth and the passage of time, were a testament to a once great society. Crumbling stone structures and faded murals hinted at a civilization that had lived in harmony with dragons. The architecture bore symbols similar to those Alex had seen in the tome Eldrin showed him, confirming their connection to his lineage. Driven by curiosity and the urge to understand more about the dragon's origins, Alex began to explore the remnants of this forgotten city. Amidst the rubble, he discovered a series of writings carved into the walls, partially eroded but still legible. These writings told the story of the dragon's origins. They spoke of a time when dragons were not just creatures of myth, but beings of power and wisdom, integral to the balance of the world. The dragons were revered, seen as guardians of nature and the elements. The writings revealed that dragons were born from the heart of the world itself, emerging during times of great need to guide and protect. The civilization that once thrived here had understood the sacred bond between humans and dragons. They had built a society that celebrated this connection, where dragon tamers were honored as bridges between the two worlds. However, the writings also hinted at a cataclysmic event, a great betrayal that shattered this bond, leading to the decline of both dragons and their human allies. As Alex pieced together the story from the ancient writings, the dragon beside him seemed to resonate with the history of its kind. In its eyes, Alex saw reflections of a forgotten past, a longing for a time when dragons and humans had been united in purpose and spirit. This discovery was more than just an exploration of history. It was a revelation of the dragon's true nature and the legacy that Alex was now a part of. The knowledge he gained from these ruins shed light on the depth of his quest. It was not just about ending a conflict or retrieving a powerful artifact. It was about reviving an ancient bond, a harmony between two worlds that had been lost to time. With a newfound understanding of his role in this larger narrative, Alex felt a stronger connection to the dragon and a greater responsibility towards the journey they were on. Together, they left the ruins, carrying with them the echoes of a once great civilization and the hope of restoring a lost harmony. The journey took a dire turn when, during a brief moment of respite, the Frostborn ambushed Alex and his dragon. In the chaos, they managed to capture the dragon and swiftly retreated to their stronghold, a formidable ice fortress located in the frozen northern reaches. Determined to rescue his companion, Alex began to gather allies for a daring rescue mission. He reached out to those he had aided in the past, a skilled archer named Michaela, whose village he had once saved from bandits, a wise mage, Orin, whom Alex had befriended in his travels, and a group of former Emberite warriors disillusioned by the endless conflict. Together, they devised a plan to infiltrate the Frostborn fortress. The fortress, known for its impregnable walls and icy terrain, required a strategy that combined stealth, magic, and brute force. As they approached the fortress under the cover of a blinding snowstorm, Oren cast an illusion to disguise their approach. Michaela used her unmatched archery skills to take out the sentries silently. The Emberite warriors, familiar with the Frostborn tactics, guided the group through a secret passage they knew of, leading into the heart of the fortress. The corridors of the fortress were a labyrinth of ice and stone. The cold was biting, seeping into their bones, but the group pressed on, driven by the mission's urgency. Alex led them with a quiet determination, his every thought on the safety of his dragon. They encountered pockets of resistance, but the element of surprise was on their side. Orin's magic and the warriors' combat prowess allowed them to subdue the Frostborn guards without raising an alarm. Finally, they reached the chamber where the dragon was held. The sight of his companion, chained and surrounded by Frostborn sorcerers, filled Alex with a mix of rage and relief. Without hesitation, the group sprang into action. Orin disrupted the sorcerer's magic with a powerful spell, while Michaela and the Emberites engaged the guards. Alex fought his way to the dragon, breaking the chains that bound it. The reunion between Alex and the dragon was a moment of unspoken understanding and relief. With the dragon freed, the group quickly made their way out of the fortress, their mission a success. As Alex and his allies made their way out of the Frostborn fortress, a chilling discovery altered their course. Deep within the labyrinthine corridors, they stumbled upon a hidden chamber, shrouded in darkness and pulsating with malevolent energy. It was here they encountered the necromancer, a figure of sinister presence, engrossed in a dark ritual. The necromancer was surrounded by arcane symbols and the bones of dragons, chanting incantations in a language that made the air itself seem to shiver. At the center of this ominous setup was the skeletal remains of a dragon, being slowly reanimated by the necromancer's unholy magic. Realizing the catastrophic potential of an undead dragon under the control of such a malevolent being, Alex knew they had to act swiftly. He signaled his companions to prepare for battle. Orin, recognizing the gravity of the situation, began countering the necromancer's magic, his incantations weaving a protective barrier around the group. Michaela readied her bow, her arrows enchanted by Orin to pierce through dark magic. The Emberite warriors gripped their weapons tighter, ready to charge at Alex's command. Alex, with a nod, initiated the assault. Michaela's arrows flew, striking the necromancer and disrupting his concentration. Orin's spells clashed against the necromancer's defenses, creating a cacophony of magical energies. The Emberite warriors charged, engaging the necromancer's summoned minions in fierce combat. The necromancer, caught off guard, retaliated with a surge of dark energy, aiming to complete the ritual in desperation. Alex, with the dragon by his side, confronted the necromancer directly. The dragon, understanding the peril, unleashed a torrent of fire, countering the dark magic and providing Alex the opening he needed. In a swift, decisive move, Alex engaged the necromancer in close combat. Each swing of his sword was empowered by his bond with the dragon, each strike a defiance against the darkness that sought to corrupt the world. The battle was intense and chaotic, a maelstrom of magic, steel, and willpower. But with their combined strength and resolve, Alex and his companions managed to overpower the necromancer, disrupting the ritual just in time to prevent the dragon's resurrection. The battle against the necromancer and his dark forces raged on with ferocious intensity. Despite their initial success in disrupting the unholy ritual, Alex and his allies found themselves pushed to their limits as the necromancer, fueled by desperation and dark magic, unleashed his full wrath upon them. In the midst of the chaos, a deadly turn of events unfolded. The necromancer, realizing the bond between Alex and the dragon, targeted Alex with a lethal curse, a dark bolt of energy aimed straight at his heart. Time seemed to slow as the bolt neared its mark. The dragon, sensing the imminent danger to Alex, acted in the only way it could to save him. With a burst of speed and a cry that echoed through the chamber, the dragon threw itself in the path of the dark bolt. The impact was devastating. The dragon's body absorbed the full force of the necromancer's curse, shielding Alex from certain death. As the bolt hit, a blinding light enveloped the dragon, and a shock wave of energy rippled through the chamber, knocking everyone to the ground. When the light faded, Alex rushed to the dragon's side. The dragon lay still, its eyes slowly closing, but not before a final act of unity and sacrifice. In its last moments, the dragon transferred its remaining power to Alex, a gift of strength and essence. A deep, resonant connection formed between them, and Alex felt a surge of energy coursing through his veins, amplifying his abilities beyond anything he had ever experienced. The dragon's sacrifice was a poignant and heart-wrenching moment. In giving its life, the dragon not only saved Alex but also passed on a part of itself, ensuring that its spirit and strength lived on through him. The battle, now reaching its climax, saw a newfound determination in Alex. Emboldened by the dragon's sacrifice and the power it had bestowed upon him, he turned to face the necromancer with a resolve that was unbreakable. The dragon's selfless act had changed the tide of the battle, granting Alex the strength needed to confront and overcome the darkness that threatened them all. The dragon, in its final moments, had not only saved Alex's life, but had also entrusted him with the legacy and power of a bond that transcended life itself. Empowered by the dragon's sacrifice and filled with a righteous fury, Alex faced the necromancer in what would be their final confrontation. The chamber, still echoing with the remnants of the battle, became the stage for this ultimate showdown. The necromancer, though surprised by the turn of events, was undeterred. He gathered his dark energies, creating a maelstrom of malevolent power around him. His eyes, burning with a maleficent glow, were fixed on Alex, intent on ending the life of the one who had thwarted his plans. Alex, now bearing the full might of the dragon's essence, felt a profound connection to the elemental forces around him. The air crackled with energy, responding to his newfound powers. With a deep sense of purpose, he stepped forward to meet the necromancer's challenge. The clash was monumental. The necromancer unleashed waves of dark magic, each attack more ferocious than the last. But Alex, guided by the dragon's wisdom and strength, countered with a series of powerful, precise moves. He moved with a speed and agility that were beyond human, his every action infused with the essence of the dragon. As Orin and the others kept the necromancer's minions at bay, Alex and the necromancer engaged in a fierce duel. Alex's sword, now glowing with an ethereal light, cut through the dark magic, dispelling the shadows with each strike. The necromancer, realizing the tide had turned, attempted a final desperate spell. But Alex, anticipating this move, used his enhanced abilities to create a shield of elemental energy, deflecting the attack back at the necromancer. In a final, decisive moment, Alex found an opening. He lunged forward, his sword piercing through the necromancer's defenses and striking true. The necromancer's scream echoed through the chamber as his dark form dissipated, his power extinguished. Silence fell upon the chamber as the last vestiges of dark energy faded away. Alex stood there, breathing heavily, the realization of his victory slowly sinking in. He had avenged his fallen companion and ended the necromancer's reign of terror. As his allies gathered around him, there was a sense of solemn triumph. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. Alex, in particular, felt the weight of his loss and victory. The dragon's sacrifice had not been in vain. Its power had been the key to overcoming the darkness. In his heart, Alex knew that the dragon's spirit would always be a part of him, guiding him in the journeys to come. In the aftermath of the necromancer's defeat, a profound change swept through the land. As Alex and his companions exited the fortress, they witnessed an extraordinary phenomenon. The sky, long shrouded in ominous clouds, began to clear, revealing the sun in its full glory. The air felt fresher, and the earth seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. It was as if a heavy shroud had been lifted from the world. Word of the necromancer's fall and the heroic deeds of Alex and his allies spread quickly. Representatives from both the Emberites and the Frostborn, hearing of the necromancer's dark scheme and his manipulation of their feud, arrived at the fortress to ascertain the truth. Upon their arrival, they found Alex standing with quiet dignity, his companions by his side. The leaders of both clans listened intently as Alex recounted their ordeal, the revelation of the dragon's sacrifice, and the true nature of the necromancer's intentions. In a moment of unprecedented clarity, the leaders of the Emberites and Frostborn realized the depth of their manipulation and the needless bloodshed it had caused. The necromancer had exploited their ancient rivalry for his own dark purposes, fueling their conflict with lies and deceit. The realization that their centuries-old feud was based on falsehoods and manipulated hatred led to a re-evaluation of their stance towards each other. The Emberites and Frostborn began to see each other not as sworn enemies but as victims of the same dark plot. In a historic gesture of reconciliation, the leaders of both clans declared an end to their hostilities. They acknowledged that the path to peace would be challenging given the years of conflict, but the fall of the necromancer served as a catalyst for change. They recognized Alex's pivotal role in ending the necromancer's reign and, by extension, the curse that had fueled their animosity. The dragon's sacrifice became a symbol of this newfound peace. It was a reminder of the price of war and the importance of unity. The Emberites and Frostborn, once divided by hatred, now began to forge a future where they could coexist in harmony. As the two clans started their journey towards reconciliation, Alex watched with a sense of accomplishment and hope. The world he had known was changing, and he had played a key role in that transformation. The legacy of the dragon lived on, not just in the powers it had bestowed upon him, but in the peace it had helped to bring to a fractured land. In the days following the establishment of peace between the Emberites and Frostborn, a grand council was held to solidify the newfound alliance. Leaders and representatives from both clans gathered, their discussions filled with hope and the promise of a better future. It was during this council that an unexpected proposition was brought forth. The leaders of the Emberites and Frostborn, in recognition of Alex's heroism and the pivotal role he played in ending the centuries-old conflict, offered him a position of unparalleled honor to lead the united clans into this new era of peace. The offer stunned Alex. He stood before the council, the weight of their expectations heavy upon him. Leaders from both clans extolled his virtues, speaking of his bravery, wisdom, and the deep bond he had shared with the dragon. They saw him as a unifier, a symbol of the harmony they sought to achieve. However, deep within his heart, Alex harbored no desire for power or leadership. His journey had started as a quest for adventure and had turned into a mission to right a grave wrong. With the dragon's sacrifice and the subsequent events, Alex had found a sense of fulfillment and purpose he had never known before. But this new role, though offered with the best intentions, did not align with the path he sought for himself. Standing before the council, Alex expressed his gratitude for their offer and the honor they bestowed upon him. Yet, with a respectful firmness, he declined the position. He spoke of his longing for a simpler life, one where he could honor the memory of his dragon companion in solitude, reflecting on the lessons and experiences of his journey. The council, though initially surprised, came to respect Alex's decision. They understood his need to find his own peace, just as the clans had found theirs. With their blessings, Alex prepared to depart, his heart filled with mixed emotions. As Alex set off alone, leaving the council and the united clans behind, he felt a sense of serenity. His journey had changed him in ways he could never have imagined. He walked away from the chance to be a leader, but he carried with him the legacy of the dragon and the memories of a journey that had reshaped the fate of the land. His path forward was uncertain, but he was content in the knowledge that he had played a part in bringing peace to a troubled world. Alex's journey into solitude took him far beyond the familiar lands, through uncharted territories where the maps of old offered no guidance. He traversed vast deserts, scaled towering mountains, and navigated through dense, untamed forests. His heart, though heavy with the memory of his lost dragon companion, was filled with a desire to understand the world and his place within it. It was during these wanderings that Alex stumbled upon a hidden kingdom, a place unlike any he had ever seen. Nestled in a secluded valley shielded from the outside world by formidable natural barriers, lay a kingdom where humans and dragons lived in harmony. The sight of dragons soaring freely in the sky, their majestic forms casting graceful shadows over the land, took Alex's breath away. He watched in awe as they interacted with the people of the kingdom, a bond of mutual respect and understanding evident in their interactions. Curious and intrigued, Alex ventured into the kingdom. The people, upon learning of his journey and the bond he had shared with his dragon, welcomed him with open arms. They shared with him the history of their land, a sanctuary for dragons and humans alike. In this kingdom, dragons were not just mythical creatures, but integral members of their society. They were companions, protectors, and friends. The people here had learned to understand the dragons, to communicate with them in ways that harkened back to the ancient bond that once existed between their kind. Alex spent time among them, observing and learning. He saw children playing with young dragons, elders sharing stories with them, and dragons aiding in tasks, their presence woven into the very fabric of the kingdom's life. This harmonious coexistence offered Alex a new perspective on peace and unity. It was a living embodiment of the potential that lay in understanding and respecting one another, be it human or dragon. The kingdom was a testament to the possibility of a world where differences were celebrated and bonds were forged on the foundations of mutual respect. The experience in the hidden kingdom filled a void in Alex's heart. It gave him hope and a deeper understanding of the relationship he had shared with his own dragon. As he prepared to leave, grateful for the insights and hospitality he had received, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. He realized that his journey was not just about seeking solitude, but about discovering and spreading the message of harmony and peace, a legacy left to him by his dragon companion. In the serene ambience of the hidden dragon-human kingdom, Alex found a semblance of peace he hadn't felt in a long time. He spent his days learning more about the dragons, their ways of life, and the deep bond they shared with the humans of this secluded haven. It was a time of healing and reflection, a period where the scars of his past adventures began to fade. However, this period of tranquility was not to last. Rumors began to stir within the kingdom, whispers of a new and ominous presence lurking at the edges of their peaceful land. A secretive and shadowy clan, unknown to the kingdom and shrouded in mystery, had been spotted in the surrounding territories. This clan, known as the Shadow Clan, was different from any group Alex had encountered before. Cloaked in darkness, with faces hidden and intentions unclear, they seemed to observe the kingdom from afar, their motives inscrutable. The people of the kingdom grew uneasy, sensing the potential threat this new clan posed to their peaceful existence. Alex, upon hearing of these developments, felt a stir of concern. His time in the kingdom had shown him the fragile beauty of peace, and the thought of it being shattered was something he could not stand idly by and witness. He began to gather information about the Shadow Clan, determined to understand who they were and what they wanted. As he delved deeper into the mystery, he learned that the Shadow Clan was ancient, their existence dating back to times almost forgotten. They were said to possess knowledge and powers that were unlike anything known to the current world, and their sudden appearance after centuries of hidden existence hinted at a dark agenda. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the kingdom, a chilling event confirmed the fears of the kingdom's inhabitants. A scout rushed into the village centre, breathless with urgency. He reported a sighting of the Shadow Clan at the very borders of the kingdom, their movements deliberate and menacing. This news sent a ripple of alarm throughout the kingdom. The harmonious life they had built, a life that had inspired Alex and given him hope, was now under threat. The emergence of the Shadow Clan was not just a harbinger of potential conflict. It was a challenge to the very ideals of peace and unity that the kingdom stood for. As night fell, casting shadows over the land, Alex stood at the edge of the kingdom, gazing into the darkness. He knew that the time had come for him to step forward once again. The Shadow Clan's emergence was a mystery that he needed to unravel, a threat that he could not ignore. The peace of the hidden kingdom and the legacy of his dragon companion depended on it. As tension escalated with the arrival of the Shadow Clan at the borders of the hidden kingdom, Alex prepared to confront this new threat. The kingdom's inhabitants, though peaceful, were ready to defend their land and the harmony they had built with the dragons. Alex, feeling a responsibility to protect the peace he had come to cherish, took the lead. Under the cover of night, Alex ventured out to meet the Shadow Clan, determined to understand their intentions and prevent any conflict. The air was thick with anticipation as he approached the border, where the members of the Shadow Clan waited in silence, their figures like spectres in the moonlight. The leader of the Shadow Clan stepped forward. Shrouded in a dark cloak, his presence was commanding, yet there was something eerily familiar about him. As the leader lifted his hood, the moonlight fell upon his face, revealing features that mirrored Alex's own. In a moment of staggering realization, Alex looked into the eyes of his long-lost twin, a sibling he never knew he had. The revelation sent a shockwave of emotions through Alex. His twin, with a voice that echoed his own, spoke of their shared lineage, a connection that traced back to the ancient dragon tamers. He revealed that they were separated at birth, each destined to walk a different path, yet both bound to the legacy of dragons. The twin explained how he had been raised by the Shadow Clan, trained in the ways of darkness and secrecy, always aware of his brother's existence and the diverging paths they had taken. He spoke of the dragon lore that coursed through their veins, a shared heritage that connected them to the mystical creatures in ways no one else could understand. This encounter was more than just a meeting of siblings. It was a collision of destinies. The Shadow Clan, under the leadership of Alex's twin, had emerged with their own agenda, one that was now intricately linked to Alex's journey and the peace he sought to protect. The revelation of a twin, sharing not just his blood but also his connection to the dragons, opened a new chapter in Alex's journey. It posed questions about fate, destiny, and the choices that define us. As Alex stood face to face with his brother, he knew that the path ahead would be complex and fraught with challenges. But it was a path he was now destined to walk with a newfound understanding of his past and a determination to shape his future.